Good afternoon, YouTube. So today I'm going to be creating a welding cart that I need for my ESOB Rebel. And I wanted a couple of things with it. None of the welding carts that I found really give good access for parts and accessories. I already have a Vulcan welding cart here, and it's made to support multiple machines. The problem is anywhere you hang your leads to get off the front winds up getting in front of some of the storage. So I wanted to go a different route with that. So what I'm going to try to do is do a combination. This welding cart's, can't even talk today. This welding cart's pretty sturdy. Seems stout enough. And for the price, not bad, $109 at Harbor Freight. One of the things it has is a little rack you can put on either side for lead wrapping. And of course it can contain a single bottle. But I would like some better storage in it. So Harbor Freight has this little roller seat. I took a good look at it, and the roller seat is actually built around a miniature 3-drawer toolbox. So how about we disassemble that, assemble that, and see where we go from here. So stay tuned. Here's what I'm trying to get rid of. I have this ESOB Rebel sitting on my welding table, which is kind of in my way and takes up fabrication space. So I want something that can secure my welder, have a place to store extra parts because I may occasionally use it for stick, safely secure the bottle to the cart, and also provide some storage for consumables, etc. I didn't do a complete unboxing, so I apologize about that. I've already started the basic components of the build. I'm not fully into it yet. Basically, the side frames are on the main cart plate with the casters on. That's about it. One of the neat things this one does have, I think, is a little component box that's set in here for storage. Now, one of the things that Harbor Freight did, which I think is pretty cool, is actually ship the parts for the cart inside this box. Let me show you. Here's how all the hardware came packed. Kind of a neat idea, and it saves on a lot of plastic and packaging, and you don't have to open anything. All the bolts, washers, and everything that you need for the assembly of the cart are already in a little toolbox. When you're done, it should be empty, and then there's some part storage for consumables or whatever you need for your cart. Now, to the little shop stool. This is how it comes out of the box. I've already kind of partially disassembled it, but little stool that you would assemble. Little wings go right here on the sides, molt around, and then there's casters that go on it, and you can roll the little stool around. I don't think that the toolbox is really important for the actual structure of this stool, so when I get done with this, I'm probably going to go ahead and build this little stool out and have an extra thing to use in the shop. But what I did was I've taken off the seat. There's 4 screws that go through here that hold that on. There were 4 bolts down into here holding this on. This one stripped out immediately, so I had to cut it away. Not too worried about that because, again, it's not going to be used as far as the toolbox goes. But outside of this, as you can see, it's a basic little 3-drawer toolbox. Decent size. Comes with some pads in there already. And it's got a couple little hollow spots in there which are going to be helpful that I will show you here in a few minutes. All totaled, I'm in for about $160. Memory serves, this little stool with the drawers is $59 and the cart is $109. So for under $200, should turn out with a pretty decent little cart with parts storage. So as I stated, my overall goal is to have an area to store some parts or consumables under my welder that I can get to without interfering with the function of the welder. If the drawers were accessible from the front, any leads hanging down from the welder would constantly get in my way. These little drawers, pretty handy, out of the way. The door on my welder will open on this side. It opens up to get into the mechanism for the spool for MIG welding. I will leave that side completely empty. Therefore, nothing's going to hang down and get in the way of these drawers. Everything will hang off of the other side, or now can hang off the front and won't be in the way. I said a little hollow area, the base below this drawer, I've already taken this drawer out and checked, there's about 3/4 of an inch below where it's just hollow. So I'm going to put a couple of screws in here on these two spots under this lip to hold this toolbox in place. Additionally, there's a bracket that comes with this that's an adjustable sliding bracket designed to move back or forth to hold your welder in place depending on its size. I think this one's going to literally take up every inch of this and be a pretty snug fit. However, the two bolts that came out of here, my goal is I'm going to drill from the bottom under here into here with the drawer out and bolt this in place so that little toolbox absolutely will not go anywhere. So let me start taking that apart and I will get this mounted up. I'm going to go ahead and take all the drawers out. If you've never messed with these, they're pretty simple. All they have is a little spring mechanism right here that on one side you push down, one side you push up, and it will release. When you go to put them back in, you literally put them in the channel, push, it'll kind of force its way. Feels like you're about to break it. One good push and it's back in. But all you do is take on this side and you lift up. The other side, you can't see obviously, push down, pull, and the drawer comes out. Like I said, to reassemble, all you have to do is put these in their channel. You're going to hit resistance right about there. Get shove in, and it's back in place. That's all it takes. Just putting in a couple of quick screws to hold the front of the toolbox to the cart. Use a spring center punch that'll help keep your drill bit from wandering. 2 holes back here for the bolts to secure the back of the toolbox to the cart. And I do use an impact wrench on a lot of these. You'll see when I'm putting it together. However, I don't crank down really tight. I just use it to feather it down to get it snug and then do it by hand. As always, my shop buddy Wesley has to make a visit. All right, Baba, come here. So good boy. He's always here to help or at least supervise. Again, here I go with the impact wrench, tightening things down, but like I said, I feather it down till it's just snug. Well, everything's been going pretty smooth, and then there's one small problem. I have a 300 cubic foot tank for my equipment, and it looks like this is not designed for a tank that big. It's not going to set in there quite well. It's hitting on the bottom, as you can see. Right there, you got a pinch point. So I'm going to have to do some minor fabrication to fix this so this tank will fit securely on the cart. So there's my solution to it. I did have to cut off the ears where the chain would normally just drop and hook in there. But I was able to keep the holders for filler rod, which I really wanted to try to do. It made the tank settle in to the rack a lot better. The bottom doesn't really touch, but it's still sitting, and what it did was cant it forward like on my Miller cart. So if I've done my math correctly, this should actually have a slight cant forward. Even if I try to pull back, it won't tip over even with no weight on the cart yet. Once I put the welder and some tools in there, it should even hold down better. So I would say problem solved on that. And there's the forward cant of the bottle. Well, there she is in all her glory, my little Franken cart. Now, like I said, I did have to modify the carrier back here to fit a full 300 cubic foot tank. Instead of having drop-ins, I have bolts on either side, so it's very well secured, no doubt. There's some of my cheap filler rod that I've got for now. So I'm able to carry those as well. I do have a little bit more to add. I'll probably put some type of little PVC base or something on one of the ends so that I can hold larger sizes of filler rod. That's a 10-pound container right there. But one of the things I wanted to achieve was having the left side of the welder open so that I could access it anytime I need to. When I switch out and put on my aluminum spool gun, I need to get to that set screw right there. And I hate having stuff in the way. Even with that cord, it's still easy to open and close this. I have my primary cords where I need them. I can get to my ground clamp and my primary stinger real easily. Like I said, this is a pretty good little multi-process welder. The arc welding on it's pretty impressive actually. So I've got my stinger there for that. Power cord, everything's set up. And then of course, the main thing I really wanted to do was add a way to get to some parts, because as I've said before, with the little front loading toolboxes of any kind, you kind of have to get through all of these cords right here to get to it. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm going to leave that there just because why not? But primarily, I can get to anything I store down here. I will probably build some dividers, cut apart sheet metal, little 9 to 12 piece dividers on a couple of these drawers for small parts like collets and collet bodies, etc. And I guess Wesley, of course, needs to give his official inspection of the cart to make sure it's good to go. But outside of that, it's done. I'm happy with the product. I think it's going to work well in the shop for me here, and I'll be able to store additional parts and tools down there. If you guys have any suggestions or something else you think I should do differently, please drop it below in the comments. And I would love anybody to subscribe to my channel. And please ring the bell so I can notify you guys whenever I make something new. Thanks, and have a great day.